1 out of 10 Indians shopped on Meesho in 2024. And they didn't just shop once, they shopped more than 9 times. It has 18.7 crore annual transacting users. The old joke over here is you have a upper middle class, tier 1 or metro city resident who's never been to a tier 3 or tier 4 city, whose entire friend circle purchases from Amazon, who passes a statement, "No one I know orders from Meesho or Flipkart. These businesses are probably not doing well." And I describe this as the Amazon narrative trap. Just because no one in your friend circle is ordering from Meesho or Flipkart does not mean that these are some chalta hai businesses. And today's breakdown answers the question, how does India shop? It is based on 2 insightful reports. The first is Meesho's first ever annual report, which is for the year 2024, and a March 2025 report from Bain and Flipkart, which has the title, How India Shops. So let's get right into it. How does India shop? Today's breakdown is broken into 3 parts. We'll cover the concept of trend-first commerce. We'll then cover the macro factors that are driving e-commerce and retail in India. And the third part will be on the topic of hyper-value commerce and insights from the Meesho annual report. Let's get into it. We'd like to give a shout out to Zerodha. The Breakdown YouTube channel is part of Zerodha's 01 Media Network, which provides us with the resources, research, and other support to make this breakdown available to you. We aim to provide high quality business journalism with independent research, and this is all thanks to the support that is made available to us from Zerodha. So thank you so much, Zerodha team. Back to breakdown. Part 1 is on trend-first commerce. A great example of a trend-first commerce brand in India is NewMe, which recently raised an $18 million Series A from Accel India. The trend-first commerce playbook has 4 parts. Social media distribution, for example Instagram, to reach the Gen Z audience. Trendy assortment at an affordable price. Technology-enabled supply chain that allows the trend-first commerce brands to tap into cultural phenomena with low minimum order quantities, test various SKUs across design, colors, and fit, and scale up those SKUs that are seeing a lot of demand. Limited edition drops, collector's items, rewards, or other bonuses or points for being a regular transactor. According to the data from Bain and Flipkart, in 2024, the total gross merchandise value was about $2.5 billion. 40% of this was online. They are expecting in the next 4 years, this will grow to 10 billion, almost 50% driven online. There is a wide range of trend-first commerce businesses, all the way from the offline Zudio and H&M to the incumbents like Myntra with FWD, Flipkart launched Spoil in August 2023, all the way to the global trend-first commerce leaders like Shein. The principle of fast fashion and Shein is affordability, availability, and assortment. So a big question is there a why now story for trend-first commerce in India? There is a really strong why now for trend-first commerce in India. It's driven by 4 reasons. India now has a value-conscious shopper base who has a median household income of about $5,000. The next one is India has a young internet user base. 45 to 50% of users are in the 18 to 35 age group, exactly the age group that is targeted by trend-first commerce brands. And we have a very high social media penetration with about 70% of people in the 18 to 35 age group who are active on social media. Now, where India is really lacking is on the influencer ecosystem. The public narrative is that India has too many social media influencers, but the data tells us a very different story. Meesho has something called the Meesho Creator Marketplace, which was launched in February 2025. Meta, which is the owner of Instagram and Facebook, launched the Meta Creator Lab in August 2024. Despite all these efforts, there is a lack of influencers in India. We have 1.5 influencers per 1,000 Instagram users. This is compared to Brazil, which has 13 influencers per 1,000 Instagram users. Now, when I started my first company, BimaPay, in November 2020, the first thing I did in August 2024 was to sign up for the Zoho stack to commence my business. Zoho has an offering called Zoho One, where you get 45 business apps in one subscription. And as a business owner, it means you get your website, email, marketing automation, contract management, payroll billing, everything managed from a single unified dashboard. And what does unified mean? Unified means that each application in Zoho One speaks to other applications by default. It lets you, the business owner, forget about internal operations and focus on business growth. What is the best part? Zoho scales with your organization as you go from 1 person to 10 people to 100 people to 1,000-person enterprise. Zoho is offering a no questions asked 30-day free trial of Zoho One. We're partnering with Zoho One to get you a special discount code. You can find the coupon code in the description below. Thank you to Zoho for empowering business owners and for supporting us at Breakdown. Part 1 was about trend-first commerce. Part 2 is to provide you a macro perspective on what is going on in e-commerce and commerce in India in general. India's retail shopper base has grown by about 20% year-on-year in the last 5 years, and India today has 28 crore active e-commerce shoppers. Now, India's global ranking is number 2 as of today in terms of the number of e-commerce shoppers. But while the historic growth has been blisteringly fast, the reality is that this blisteringly fast growth has slowed down post-COVID. And the data tells us that pre-COVID, private consumption was growing at about 11%. Post-COVID, it is growing at about 8%. But here's where I will tell you that there was a post-COVID slowdown. There's going to be a post-2025 acceleration. The post-2025 acceleration is driven by 2 factors. The new tax regime allows you benefit wherein 12.7 lakh rupees of income is tax-free, and this should put an incremental 75,000 rupees to 1 lakh rupees into the hands of a lot of Indians, which will get pushed directly into private consumption spending. The second reason is RBI intervention. This comes from 2 repo rate cuts done by the Reserve Bank of India, reducing the repo rate from 6.5 to 6.25, 6.25 to 6%. When the repo rate goes down, the interest rate that is charged on loans goes down. And this is typically a stimulus for consumption spending because it reduces the cost of taking a loan for a customer such as you. Another key factor as to why India may be on the precipice of a post-2025 acceleration in e-commerce is that the GDP per capita in India is just at that tipping point where you start to see an acceleration in consumption spending. And this is based on historic data looking at Indonesia, looking at China, looking at Korea, and other markets where when the GDP per capita has crossed the magical $3,500 to $4,000 threshold, there is an inflection. This inflection is not theory, this inflection is reality. In states like Maharashtra, Karnataka, Goa, Telangana, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu, the GDP per capita has already crossed $3,500 household income threshold. And we actually see that the e-commerce penetration in these states is 20% higher than other states. And by the way, the big unknown in India versus a lot of other geographies out there is quick commerce. Grocery today is about 1% online, 99% offline. We're projecting in the next 6 years by 2030 for India to have 4% to 5% of grocery going online, driven by quick commerce. We currently have about 13% of lifestyle spend that is happening online. This is projected to go to 25%, again driven by quick commerce. There is a belief in India that e-commerce is only a tier 1 and metro city phenomenon, and this cannot be further away from the truth. E-commerce is not a tier 1 or metro India phenomenon only. You'd be amazed to know that 45% of e-commerce orders since 2023 have come from tier 3 and beyond cities. 60% of new merchants or sellers onboarded since 2021 have come from tier 2 and beyond cities. And another reason why sellers from tier 2 and beyond cities have been aggressively onboarded in the last couple of years is courtesy ONDC. And there was a point in 2023-2024 where ONDC was spending 3 crore plus rupees per month on seller onboarding incentive. The India-specific take on hypervalue commerce is driven by two factors. Number one is we have a non-metro audience with slightly lower disposable income coming online who are aspirational and seek to make purchases. The second one is that while disposable income might be low in India, it is rising amongst the middle class, and therefore there is an aspiration to want to go and spend that incremental income. Now, the global leader in hypervalue commerce is a business or platform called Temu. Temu was a spin-out from Pinduoduo in September 2022. Pinduoduo is a Chinese commerce business and has a $200 billion market cap. Temu sells across 40 countries in less than 2 years from launch, and it does direct delivery from Chinese factories to global consumers. In a span of 1 year, Temu had almost the same number of monthly active users as Amazon had in the US. Not just that, in a year from launch, Temu scaled from 0 to $14 billion of gross merchandise value. And hypervalue commerce is not just scaling in the US and in China, it is also scaling in India. Now, to understand why hypervalue commerce platforms like Meesho are capturing so much market share, I spoke to two people. When I spoke to my gym trainer and my cook, who are both Meesho customers and both aware of Myntra, I walked away with a few insights. The first is voice-based search. The second is content creator-led discovery. So, for example, a platform like Meesho has the Meesho Creator Hub with 17,000 creators who are compensated by Meesho and Meesho sellers for creating content around the products. Now, Meesho's 2024 annual report has one beautiful slide that encapsulates the Meesho triple flywheel. Meesho has three major business units: the Meesho Marketplace, the Valmo Logistics business, and the Meesho Creator Marketplace. The way to understand the triple flywheel is that if Meesho is able to onboard more sellers, it can provide more pricing and assortment, which naturally attracts more customers, which results in more orders. But having more orders allows Meesho to use its Valmo logistics arm to onboard more logistics partners, which in turn provide a lower cost. And obviously, a marketplace that offers a lower cost is going to attract more sellers and more buyers, and this is how the Meesho marketplace and the Valmo model are a flywheel with each other. When we come to creators, creators tend to flock to platforms that have consumers. If Meesho has more consumers, it is able to attract more creators. If there are more creators, there is more UGC, which is user-generated content, and more user-generated content results in more discoveries that results in more orders. If there are more orders, you're able to attract more sellers on your marketplace. And this is how the Meesho Creator Marketplace and the Meesho Marketplace are in a flywheel with each other. So this was the triple flywheel that has driven Meesho to a $5 billion gross merchandise value in the last 1 decade. This is also a good opportunity to explain what Valmo is. Valmo is an example of a third-party logistics aggregator. And in 12 months from launch, Valmo was processing 9 lakh orders per day and approximately 20% of the GMV of Meesho in February 2024. We'll now look at some of the mind-boggling statistics from Meesho's annual report 2024. Meesho did 37 lakh orders per day in 2024. This is higher than Flipkart, which did 22 lakh orders per day. In 2024, Meesho had 18.7 crore annual transacting users. These annual transacting users had a last 12 months order frequency of 9 orders in 2024, and this is up from 5.5 orders in 2022. At any given point, Meesho has 11 crore active product listings, and its Valmo business has provided employment to 85,000 people. Its Creator Hub has paid out to 17,000 unique creators. And the best part, Meesho is just getting started. It is not even a public company today. So it's very interesting that Meesho is not a 3-party marketplace. It's actually a 4-party marketplace. There is a creator, a platform which is Meesho, a customer which is you, and a seller. And this is because of the content and commerce flywheel. So the big takeaway about how India shops is that e-commerce is not a tier 1 and a metro city phenomenon. E-commerce is very much a pan-India phenomenon. The factors that are driving the e-commerce penetration in tier 2 and beyond India are the rise of value commerce platforms like Meesho, the rise of domestic creators who are able to tap into trends and make domestic audiences aware of the latest fashion, apparel and other trends, and the rise of disposable income both in urban India and in rural India. That's all for this week's breakdown. Thank you.